Welcome, everyone. It's Thursday. I don't know about you, but Thursday's pretty good. You're doing well. We're on a roll. Now, because it is Thursday, you know how sometimes we get excited about, we're almost at Friday. Huh? But I got home from work last night and my son came into the kitchen and he just started talking to me. And he said a whole bunch of things, but one thing he said stuck out to me. He said to me, "Ma, we just gotta lay a foundation." But you know how he came to that? He says, "Mom, why is it that people don't understand that it is the base of the pyramid? It is the foundation of the pyramid that gives the entire structure its power." I said, "Explain," because I want to see what he's thinking about. He goes, "That's where everybody is, allegedly at the bottom of the pyramid." He goes, "But you can't see yourself as being the bottom." He goes, "If you see yourself as the foundation, because you build on a foundation." I said, "Oh my," and he's just talking to me like he reasoned this out. "You've got to build a foundation, Mama," is what he said. I said, "Well, tell me more." He said, "Well, people see themselves, sometimes as the little guy." He goes, "But you know what? Without the little guy, we don't have anything." He says, "People are the foundation. The way they see themselves is the foundation, Ma." I said, "You could be onto something there, eh, Starboy?" And he's just telling me these things. And I had just gotten home from work and I said, "Well, I don't know what we're going to talk about in the morning. But, I said, well, this sounds awesome." And, it's two-sided, though. The way people see themselves definitely is the foundation. The rock upon which I build my church, that is the foundation. As per Neville Goddard, for his interpretation. Everything that we do is built upon who we say we are. Because who we say we are is how we think and how we speak and how we act. It's the foundation. See, that's one side, right? And let's look at it in a slightly different way, just ever so slightly. Remember we talked about seeds last time? And I don't know, I just have this relationship with bamboo. Bamboo, when I learned about bamboo, it did something to me. Because bamboo takes 4 years before it breaks the surface. So you're standing there, you're watering, you're fertilizing, you're weeding an empty field. Or so you think. But bamboo is laying the foundation for its strength. You know how strong and resilient bamboo is? You can't get rid of that bad boy because it spent the first 4 years burrowing down, 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 so that whatever happens above, it can handle. It built itself a foundation. See, what we believe is our foundation. What we believe is our foundation. That's what we build upon. And so, as he's talking to me last night, he says, Mom, I'm beginning to understand why I feel the way I do. And I was like, oh. And I'm enraptured now because I'm just like, wow. Because I always say It is that light of understanding. When we comprehend a thing, what we do begins to make sense as to why we're doing it. And when we can see why we're doing it, we then comprehend how to change, what to do to change. You know, because he spoke to me about doing the same thing the same way every time. I said, oh, it sounds like a habit to me. And he says, well, that makes things easier. Because you know what you can do with a habit. You know what you can do to make a new one. And I said, yeah, foundation. It's the foundation. And that's what he said to me last night. He just kept hammering that home to me last night. He says, Ma, it's the foundation that we build on that makes us or breaks us. He goes, if there's a crack in that foundation, that whole thing is going to fall and you're going to have to dig it out and do it again. And I knew what he was talking about because he roots for the underdog, you know. He doesn't like to see anybody taken advantage of. He doesn't like to see it. And he said, those are the people that make up the foundation. The ones that society thinks, oh, are little and insignificant. And he branched off and he said, well, what about ants? He goes, they seem little, but without them, you don't get any air in the ground. He goes, and they help plants to grow, Mom. He goes, but that colony, he says the foundation is the queen. And then everybody else has their role built upon what she is. And then that's how the colony survives, because of who she is. All their work is geared towards her. And he says, but that's what we should be doing with the foundation, nurturing the foundation. And I think I had a moment because he's just here and he's saying these things to me. And I'm like, he understands so much for being so young, you know? And that's why I was encouraged to come on here this morning and to tell you what you are learning is building your foundation. What you are learning on a daily basis builds your foundation. And also, who you say you are, that's where we build from, right? So what is your foundation? What are you saying to yourself about yourself? See that part? That's where everything flows from. And so last night when he was talking to me, I felt so privileged to hear his perspective. I thought it was awesome. I really did. And so that's why the encouragement for each and every one of us this morning. Be like bamboo and lay the foundation. So that when things happen in the world, you'll know they're not happening to you. You're the observer of them. How are you possibly an observer? As within, so without. Cause and effect. That's just what's happening. And if you can see that that's what's happening, then you will naturally begin to readjust your attitude. And once you readjust the attitude, then your experiences on the outside must follow suit. Right? So this foundation, Neville has a lecture called Foundation Stone. And the principles are the foundation. That's what it is. The very foundation of your existence. And then he said something else. He says, Mom, we are ancient, I said, ancient? And it's funny that word ancient because that is what spirit is referred to as the ancient of days. When you read Neville, it's what he refers to it as. He goes, we're just this thing. And we're inside this body and we're making it move. And I said to him, yes, we are animating our bodies. And he's like, that's so cool, Mom, that we're this ancient thing, but we're inside these bodies. He said, so my body's supposed to do what I tell it, because I'm the one in it. And I'm just standing there like mouth open, because he's right. He's right. We are in our bodies. See that foundation? To know that you are within. But because we've become so caught up in what our name is, what our race is, what our religion is, what our culture is, if we good or not good enough, because we've become so caught up in that, we've lost sight as to what we actually are. Ancient, timeless, formless, and shapeless, immortal. See, we can't get our heads around that because we spend so much time. I'm black. I'm white. White supremacy. We spend so much time there. We don't even see what we're capable of. Your flesh only has an identification. Culture, gender, sex. That's flesh. But you see, flesh, the foundation of flesh is that what? It does wither and die. So when scripture tells us you do not store up your treasure in earthly things that the flame and the moth can destroy. It's okay to celebrate your humanity and to love one another. It's perfectly fine. And we must do it. But at no time do we forget the foundation of what we truly are. Always remember what you are. Because when you remember what you are, wait, I am formless and shapeless? Yep. I am timeless? Yep. How do you mean I'm timeless? I don't even feel timeless. Oh, my back hurts. I don't feel timeless. My foot hurts. I don't feel timeless. Because you didn't just come around. You've been around for a long time. Don't ask me how long because I don't know. What I do know is that you are the one running the show in your body. That much I know. And because we have forgotten that major foundation piece, we tend to flounder and stumble through the day. Because we can't possibly be more than what we are. Allegedly. We're just these puny humans. Allegedly. Do you not realize that the way you feel about yourself is the way you have to be? Even if you don't know it, somebody knows it. And that's why they take the time to make you and I feel a particular way so that we'll do what? Continually think that we're grasshoppers. When in actuality, we are far greater than we've been led on to believe. Now, whether you believe me or not, and you say, oh, it's a conspiracy theory, but that's irrelevant. Plant something. Nurture it. You think you're nurturing it with your hands on fertilizer? No, you're nurturing it with your very essence, your very self is what you're nurturing it with. See? It's a beautiful thing, these late night conversations that my son and I have. They happen when he's ready to talk, right? So today, if you are struggling with believing in yourself or trusting yourself, remember that you are the one inside your body and you're telling it what to do. How do you know that you're inside your body? Well, they don't put you in the ground. They just put your body in the ground when you're dead. Or they cremate you when the body is quote unquote dead. So there's something else. And that something else is you in all of your glory and all of your splendor. But because we have the present foundation stone of arguing all the time, we miss what we are and what we're capable of doing. But here's the great news. All are redeemed. Not all can be redeemed. All are. Even what we call the bad people. All are redeemed. Why is that? Good, bad, or indifferent, we are all unique expressions of one thing: consciousness, awareness. That's what we are. And if we take the time to cultivate it, well, Angela, how do you cultivate that? I don't know how I cultivate these things. You cultivate it by testing yourself. Can I bring this thing from within my imagination and put it into the world where I can physically interact with it? Can I do that? That's the first question. And the answer would be yes, if you practice. What exactly are you practicing? You see, the thing that is in your mind's eye, your imagination, that you can clearly see. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. Huh? When you can see it clearly, feel it clearly, then you become it. So test yourself, practice. Can I bring from my imagination, can I bring that thing from within that nobody knows about, nobody sees, and put it on the outside so that people can interact with it and I can interact with it? Can I do that? Well, then, that is when we remember that what we say we are, that foundation stone as to who and what we say we are, we recreate it in the world. Not through force, because remember the scripture, not by might, not by power, but by my spirit. Do you understand what that means? It means we don't run around trying to strong arm anybody. I read these things all the time and they say, man, it's only who you know. Really? That's their foundation stone. If you're going to say it's only who you know, well, that's the rock you built your church on. The rock, yeah, the foundation you built your existence upon is that you got to know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody else about something. That's the only way you'll get ahead. That is your foundation stone. So if you build on that, you're going to have to know somebody who knows somebody that knows something about something to get you in the position. But what if you had a different foundation stone? What if you knew, listen, all I got to do is get a clear image. And this clear image, as within, so without. Ow, yes. It'll bring that invisible thing to the outside so I can interact with it. And so other people can interact with it too. That's what you're doing. That's what you're practicing daily basis. But where we get caught up in our foundation is when we see it clearly, sometimes the first thing we say is, imagination my arse. That thing's never gonna happen. That's not even real. I'm probably just being delusional. That's what we say. Do you know how frustrating that is to you? It's, it's incredibly frustrating. You want to become something, and on the other hand, you keep saying, no, I can't. And on the other hand, you say, well, I can. You say, no, I can't. You see where the exhaustion comes from? The constant inner mental fight is where the exhaustion comes from. Because mentally, you're trying to convince yourself of one thing, but then on the other side, your experience and what you've seen in the world is telling you that's not true. Based upon this factual evidence that I have with my eyes, that's not true. You can never change. That's what we hear in the back of our heads. But the encouragement to you and I this morning is this. The foundation that you lay is most important. Why? Because the wise man builds his house where? On the rock. Why the rock? Because when the tempest comes, when the tide comes in, you got a lot of work to do to wash that stone away. It does not just wash away. So you see, my beautiful friends, what is your foundation? If your foundation is perpetual victim, then what do you think each room will contain? So spend some time and be like bamboo and begin to lay the foundation of your very existence. How? Through practice. What do we practice? We practice by acknowledging what we are. That's what you practice. Bringing something from the inside to the outside. And all you're doing is allowing it to unfold for you. That's what you're doing. So take your time today and get the anchor, get the foundation set. See, if you don't let the foundation set, look at architecture. See, this is what I love about the principles, you know. You see the principles at work everywhere. If you pour the foundation and you do not let it cure or settle itself so it becomes firm, that means once it sets, doesn't move. Yeah. So that's exactly what happens to us. What we believe in has now become the foundation. It became the foundation for us. And the whole purpose of a foundation is to anchor everything you build on top of it. Is it not? That's the purpose of a foundation. To give something structural integrity so you can build upon it. Because if you've ever seen Mike Holmes, or a good old homegrown Canadian boy, he is a contractor, meaning a general contractor. He knows everything when it comes to building everything. Plumbing, electrical, God, he knows it all. And he can look at something and tell you if it was done right or not. Why? Because of his foundation of knowledge. So, what is your foundation of knowledge that you are continually building upon? The nature, remember the nature of the foundation is to be secure so that whatever is built upon it. So if you don't let that foundation cure, my father used to be a cement finisher. He retired from that. And they would pour basements and, they got to trowel it out and get it all smooth and blah, blah, blah. But you ever notice when they're building something and when they're done building, once they're finished pouring the foundation and wrapping and blah, 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 waterproofing, once they're done doing all that, they take a break for a minute. Why? Because if you don't allow it to set and cure, whatever you build on it becomes too heavy and it sinks. So your foundation has to be sure. It has to be cured. It has to be hard. It has to be firm. Because once you've set it, so what things sound like foundation? Habits sound like foundations. See? What is the integrity of your foundation like? Is it one that you know you can rock with it all the time because you know it is solid, it is sure, it's sincere, right? Once you know what your foundation is, you can build from there. We can always build. And this is the thing. This is why you take the time and you learn. You take the time and you practice applying what you've learned, because all of that is helping your foundation to cure itself so that when something arises, first of all, you know where it came from. That's what you'll know first and foremost. And when you see that it is you, and then you begin to say, wait, this foundation stone as within, so without, you know what? Let me get some clarity. I'm going to just focus on this one and get that clarity. And I'll begin to see in my mind's eye what I'm capable of. And when you start seeing that, ooh-wee. See, what have you spent your time pouring yourself into as that foundation? What have you spent that time doing? Complaining? Is that what your foundation is built upon? But then it's shaky. Is it built upon knowing who and what you are? Only you will know. Take your time to dig the foundation, meaning to learn and apply and then test. Learn, apply, and then test yourself to see if you're doing it right. Test yourself to see. As Neville says in the scripture, you test yourself to see if you're holding fast to the truth. That truth is your foundation. This is why it is essential that when you have clarity in your mind's eye, you don't have to hope that it's going to happen. You know that it's happening. It's not static. The principle of vibration tells us that everything moves. So when you look at yourself and you go, you know what? I know that this thing, I'm clear on the inside. Well, then it will show up on the outside. That is what my foundation is. That is what I know. And so I don't have to hope. I don't have to freak out. I don't have to have a ritual because I know that as I am, therefore I must do. And I'm always becoming because I can't stand still. I have to move. That's the principle. And I'm moving between two poles. I'm moving from where I presently am to where I'm going. And this is how you talk to yourself. This is how you stay the course. And this is how you test your foundation. This is how you test the integrity of your foundation. So this morning, my beautiful friends, my son did inspire this message. I just saw how his face lit up, when he's telling me, and he's so excited that he came to this understanding or this comprehension. Wow. So today, do you have a foundation? You see, some people say, but my foundation is Jesus. Yeah, nobody's telling you that it isn't. But if you don't know who Jesus is, then the foundation is shaky. Who is Jesus? Some man that come Passover is going to ride through the streets on a donkey? No. Who is Jesus? Look in the mirror. The reflection is Jesus. But if you felt something rise up within you, go blasphemy, then we know what your foundation is. Right? Take your time. And you learn, you apply, and then you test. Indeed, that is what we do. My God, I just love you guys so much. Who's here today? Ninja Star. Ooh, I really got to get close because I don't have my glasses on. Ninja Star is here. Dragon Memes. Hey, Cyber. Long time no see. I usually see you and Brandon in the evenings, but I don't do evenings anymore because I'm working in the evenings. But hey, I see you. Who's here? Well, Twitter is as Twitter does. I have my eyes closed this whole time because the lights from the devices are bright. They are. So who's here on Fanbase? We've got Miss McQueen in the house. We got Michael. Hey, Surreal. We got Honey, and we have Oracle Treehouse. Test your foundation. Test your foundation to see if it can withstand the entire house being put on it, your entire life being put on it. Yes, test it. How do we test it? First of all, you presently see where you're at. Then you can see where you're at. Now begin to determine where you want to be and get a clear image of it. Remember, you don't have to see it in your mind's eye as in, but I can't visualize. We all can visualize. When it comes through your strongest sense will allow that shape to take root. Well, I can only hear you now. Well, then what you hear inspires you so that you can tell it. And when you can tell it, well, then you know that you've got clarity. Yes? Anyhow, I don't know that you'll get Chicken this morning, 'cause he's fast asleep. Oh, yes, he is. So is Lady. Right? Test. As you hear the chime this morning, begin to test your foundation. Remember, first of all, what the foundation is? What you believe yourself to be. That's the foundation. Well, what do I say that I am? Well, look at what you're doing. That's who you say you are. Right? And if that's who I say I am, well, then I've got to act that way. And you don't have to force yourself to act anyway. You just have to select who you are, and you will act accordingly. We keep talking about inspired action. We keep talking about inspired action. Oh, you got to do this. No. What you do is determined by what you say you are. So you never have to force. Remember, not by might, not by power, but by my spirit. And we think that that's mystical somehow. No. Your spirit, aka the foundation. What you say you are. Let me go get this chime. And when you hear the chime this morning, who are you? Who? Who are you? That's the foundation. That's the foundation. Test its integrity. Make sure there aren't any cracks in it. Why is that important? Yeah. You see how important it is to know what you are, who you say you are? That is the principle of mentalism. Everything is built on that. That's the seed. Everything comes from it. Gosh, I love you guys. What is your foundation? Is it, man, I gotta argue? Then that is where you build your whole life upon, is the argument, the fight. So choose this day whom you will serve. Flesh serves spirit. Flesh serves. It does what it is commanded to do. And how do we give the body a command? I am that. Oh, I am. That is how we give our bodies the command to do. I do love you. I do. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Much love to each and every one of you. Go forth today and check your foundation. Hello. Check it. Make sure it is solid. Make sure that it is sincere. Because as you build upon it, you don't want that thing sinking on you. You want it to hold you up. Yes? I do love you. Hey, it's symmetric. I see you. Let's go. I see you too. Twitter is no longer Tumbleweed Twitter. I love you guys. Peace out, Twitter. Peace out. Twitter is closed. YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. Thank you all for being here. And those of you who made yourselves known in the chat, I see you. Have a most beautiful day. Much love to you.